All right, and we are live. We're live with Incel Riot, also known as William. How's it going, sir?
Pretty good. That's the name on my driver's license, if I had a
Uh,
driver's license.
yes. So for everyone interested on the internet, there we go.
There we go.
So you wanted to cover Tucker.
I did. I just made another card. I had to. I made an artifact. Can I post images? I can't, can I?
I don't know how to do that since I do this on my phone.
Oh,
so sharing images is not something that's
I can share my screen, but I don't know if you want to see my screen. Oh yeah, so, I added Tucker's bow tie to the game.
Nice. So
concealed inside Tucker's bow tie is a miniature dagger, which gives the user +2 damage, backstab damage.
Nice. So this is part of your Deplorables expansion?
Oh no, Deplorables expansion is already shipped. This is, I don't know what this is. I had to make a thing. So I guess I'm working on another expansion. Even if I never release it, I'll just make the cards, which is the point after all.
Yes, it is. So you made a card for Tucker Carlson.
Yes.
Again, for those of you who don't know, this is the artist and creator of Virtue Signal.
Yeah.
And he is it's a game that mocks the SJWs and their internet shenanigans. So I'm sure you will find links somewhere in the description when this stream ends. And he is making new content for the game.
What was that?
I said you were making new content for the game.
Oh yeah, it was so perfect. Like Tucker's bow tie. Yeah. Artifact of power. You have to have a Tucker's bow tie.
Yep. It is true. No, the one that I like best on Tucker is the black and yellow.
The black, the tie? I have I got the yellow one with the red dots. It's so twee.
No, the reason you have the reason that I love the black and yellows, it's an unironic virtue signal to the Proud Boys.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Is it?
You didn't know this?
Not the Babylon Bee? Tucker Carlson is making virtue signals to the Proud Boys. Mm-hmm. He's a registered Democrat.
Still? After all this time?
Yes.
God damn it, Tucker.
People, they love his confused face. Like, do not get me started on the celebrities that people will throw their loyalty behind just because they say the right thing.
Yeah, I had a similar problem with what's her face. I never liked Tommy Lauren. Never liked her.
Oh yeah. No, they're opportunists. These people have figured out that there's an audience, right? And a fairly uncritical audience, it would seem.
Oh my God.
No matter who you used to be or what you used to be, like people who used to be on the fucking Young Turks, 2 of them. Oh wait, no. Dave Rubin, Young Turks, Tim Pool was Vice.
Yes.
One of those hardcore lefty players.
Well, Gavin was Vice, and he completely flipped the script on him.
Well, Gavin was original Vice, back before Vice was woke, I guess you could say. And they pushed him out. I don't think he actually changed.
Well, Vice didn't want to critique President Obama. They wanted to be nice to him. And Gavin's like, well, what the fuck is this shit? What the fuck?
Exactly. Yeah.
We are anti-establishment, even if... Huh? Say that again?
That's not punk rock. I said that's not punk rock.
No, it's not punk rock at all. And Gavin is nothing if not punk rock. Oh. So yes, that is that it's too common that we follow these figureheads even when they don't really make the mesh. Like I'm continuously skeptical of supposedly conservative women on social media They're not married. They don't have kids.
No.
And it's just like, walk the walk, ladies. Like,
Yes.
for the love of all that is holy. Okay, as men, we know that you're not getting dates. We know that you don't have options, or we know that you have options. Let's put it that way. Have you seen the Richard Jenny sketch about how being a woman is like about how getting your period is like being approached by a loan shark?
No, I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's hilarious. But Richard Jenny is a comedian who suicided himself, and I'm beginning to think that maybe, like George Carlin, he was just speaking too many uncomfortable truths.
You think George Carlin was murdered?
No, I just find his death oddly coincidence. Now that most of his free speech stances are
being 90 years old.
Yeah,
it's possible. Who knows?
Who knows? But anyways, Richard Jenny had this beautiful sketch where he's like, every month a woman's body becomes a loan shark.
Okay.
Hey, you had a kid yet? Oh, well, I'm sure you have many things that what? Pow! And he just goes into the sketch. How many times do we have to keep talking about the same fucking thing? Have the kid. Kicks her while she's on the ground. And so that's pretty much the whole sketch. He's making fun of the fact that women get these periods, and yet, for some odd reason, despite nature's constant warning, no kid. And so when I look at these conservative women, I'm like, your body's kicking your ass every month. You're attractive. I know you can get dates, and yet for whatever reason, not married, no kids, and this goes on for like 3 or 5 years until Fox News gets a new model.
Yeah. Why did they look like Jessica Simpson? Explain this to me.
So you also wanted to talk about.
I'm sure the reason is Jessica Simpson. That's got to be the reason.
Yeah.
Like conservatives love that shit. Can you do that? You know, get a ring perm. Just do that. Like conservatives are stupid. They'll believe anything that comes out of your hole if you look like that.
Well, if there's anything about conservatives that we can say positively about this phenomenon, is at least conservatives still appreciate beauty. At least they have that going for them.
True, I guess. Yeah, you won't find any fugly chicks on conservative stations, that's for sure.
Indeed. Which brings us to Sidney Powell.
Sidney Powell turns my crank, I got to tell you. And and Jenna, I was watching that press conference with Rudy standing in the middle with like Jenna on one side and Sidney on the other. I was like, wouldn't I like to be right there right now? Yes, I realize she's pushing 60. I don't care.
Oh, so how is Sidney pulling your crank? How is that working for you?
She's not unattractive, and also she's really smart and powerful, and that does it for me.
Oof. So apparently, Sidney is if my memory is serving me correctly, she is releasing the Kraken.
That is a thing that kind of took on a life of its own. I don't know. Do you subscribe to many like of these like Q analysis groups?
I like listening to them. I don't really subscribe. I don't.
Yeah, me too.
I don't follow the plan.
On Twitter, like she said that, and like people of a certain age, people my age, like immediately know that that's a quote from Clash of the Titans, right? Release the Kraken, and then the Kraken gets destroyed in like 5 minutes.
Yep.
Yeah. But all these millennials and Zoomers have no idea what a Kraken is, and like pouring over the internet, like, what could be the secret meaning behind the Kraken? And like they're like assigning numbers to all the letters and doing math with them and shit. Like, fuck off, kids. It just
holy shit.
It was an off the cuff remark that she made.
That is awesome.
I don't know that there was ever a Kraken event planned. If you know what I mean.
Well, if there was a Kraken to be released of that magnitude, we're not going to hear about it until a court rules on it.
Oh, well, she did. I mean, that is the Kraken. The fact that what she said to do was huge. She had said it before, like weeks before, but she had never like put it all together, like in a press conference in front of the entire country where everybody apparently saw it. But yeah, the Kraken is the Dominion software.
Oh,
well, that's the Kraken.
I must have missed that conference because I have been I've been doing family shit. Like I'm a dad, I'm a husband. Okay. I do this. I literally have to check in on all of my internet shenanigans at work because I work security and Please fill me and the audience in on the Kraken.
Well, okay. Over at the Donald, they've been doing they've been crunching these numbers. I think we touched on this before. They've been crunching these numbers, not just statistics, like the statistics that are like completely out of whack, but also on election night, as I understand it, the Dominion server machines read the votes, right? Smartmatic tallies the votes. The data is sent to either Spain or Germany to get tabulated and compiled or something, and then it gets sent back to the television stations in more or less real time.
Oh, right? You're shitting me.
No. And while we're on that subject, Ms. Powell confirmed something that has been a rumor for a long time, but that U.S. Army seized the Smartmatic data in the vote data in Germany, in Frankfurt, Germany. They raided the place and took it.
That is confirmed to be real, despite the media claiming it not to be.
That actually happened.
Oh.
But she also said, we don't know if that's the good guys or the bad guys. Apparently, she didn't have anything to do with that, and she didn't have any knowledge of it. So she doesn't know if it could be a prophylactic measure by the deep state, to make sure that somebody else doesn't get their hands on it before, the Trump team does.
I mean, thank God we have a commander-in-chief who, can declassify shit.
If he knows about it, right? If he knows about it, he doesn't know everything.
If Sidney Powell knows about it, I'm assuming Trump has some ideas to what's going on. But
that's true. Okay, that's a good point.
But anyway, that's me being hopeful.
Yes, I don't know that it matters because and then there is I don't know if there's an intermediary like a server or whatever, but there's a wire service called Edison that sent the data real time to all the television networks, and it's just XML data. I think it's XML. I'm pretty sure it's XML data. It's XML formatted data, and it's just sitting on the New York Times web server, unencrypted. It's just sitting right there, and I got it. I was like, holy hell, yes! I went over and I snagged it and I downloaded the whole thing, and it's got date stamps, time stamps, and like what votes to who. There's like it's in blocks that are about a page each. And some guys wrote a Perl script or whatever to compile the data and analyze it and see what happens. And you can see, right? You can see votes getting moved. You can see votes getting deleted. Like there are videos all over YouTube and Twitter of you can see like while the news anchor is talking on the screen and you watch the tallies of the votes like going up and down behind them, you can see exactly X number of votes being moved from one candidate, Biden, obviously, in every case, to Trump, like 19,234. removed from Trump and added to Biden. Like his Trump's score goes down and Biden's goes up by exactly that amount. And you can see that happening in real time.
Holy shit.
Yeah. They got him dead to rights. They were
God.
sloppy as fuck. Sloppy as fuck. And what? Ms. Powell, actually, this was my working theory, and Sidney Powell confirmed it, that the initial plan was to steal it subtly. Like they expected, just like in 2016, they planned to rig it, but they didn't rig it enough. So they had this algorithm that was going to flip it by like 3 to 5%, right?
Oh my God.
Subtly, so it could not be detected. But the votes for Team Red were so overwhelming that it basically broke the algorithm.
Oh, so okay.
The red wave was so intense that it broke the algorithm, and then you see everybody. Boom! They stop counting. They send everybody home. The Dominion the Dominion employee comes in, and then a truck pulls up at 3:30 a.m. and the people who are there think it's a food truck, right? So they all ran out to see it, and nope, it's not a food truck. It's full of ballots, freshly printed. You can still smell the ink, right? Freshly printed ballots, and so there are literally dozens of eyewitness accounts of that van pulling up with ballots in it. And I have a photograph of one of the boxes. There's a parcel that came out of that van that has the Shunfeng. Package.
Now, to be clear, so that everyone listening now or later knows, that packaging doesn't come from anywhere but China, correct?
No, that's mainland China. Yep, it's their best one. It's their China's
so someone on election night were receiving packages from mainland China on election night.
So it would appear. That doesn't mean it came from the government. That doesn't mean it came from the government. I do a lot of business with the Chinese, and they'll just print whatever the fuck. You know, I did business with this one printing company, and they had on the front page of their website they had pictures of a children's book for pedophiles. Like they had no idea. Yeah, like a children's book for pedophiles. They'll just print whatever. And I got on with their customer service and like, do you have any idea what this is? And they're like, no. And I tell them like, holy shit. And it was gone within 10 minutes. But it might have come from the Chinese government. It might not have. It's probably like I would guess it's like a neutral place, right? That they will print something that would be blatantly illegal in the United States. And they'll just do it without asking questions because they have no idea.
Wow. Oh, okay.
Or it could be from the Chinese government. What do I know?
Okay, so in this XML file that anyone can pull off the New York Times website,
yes,
you can see where Dominion was switching votes from Trump to Biden. It's clear as day.
Smartmatic that does the switching. I could be wrong, but yes, you can see it.
Wow. Holy. And let me see if I understand this further. The red wave, and now this is what Sidney Powell said. We have evidence that Trump had millions of votes stolen from him.
Oh, yes. Like 8 million.
Wow.
Nationwide.
Holy shit.
Yep.
Okay, so that's a kraken. That's a fucking kraken. That is a that's if you took that and this is fraud. Like this isn't a glitch.
It's criminal fraud. It's treason. People keep softballing it. It's fucking treason. Okay? People should go to jail for this. It's treason against the United States of America. It is an attempted coup d'etat.
Yes, and you're sabotaging the vote to try and install what is a de facto dictatorship. Because if they can,
it is a dictatorship.
Now,
if for some reason it fails, Joe Biden will be a dictator.
Yes, and what people don't understand, and what I'm trying to enunciate for people, especially on the right or in Congress, who are staying silent for all this bullshit. If you don't speak up now, if you don't back Trump now, I'm sorry, you deserve to be next because you are next. Then you
You
are
are
the next logical target for this nonsense.
Oh, I'll just say this. I don't know. Were you alive in 1992?
I was enjoying preschool. Well, no, I wasn't in preschool. I was in like kindergarten.
Let me. 1992 was a really weird election because it had H. Ross Perot, right? It was a three-way election.
Yeah.
The Federal Election Commission and the two parties and the media, whatever, they had a reasonably good system for keeping third parties out.
Yeah.
Right? But in comes this billionaire spending billions of his own money, buys TV time on NBC and all the networks, and just like talks to the American people, charts, and like sitting at his desk and like, here, tell me about telling me about NAFTA and like how it's the worst thing in the world. And he was leading at one point. He was beating both the Republicans and the Democrats. And I don't want to go into the whole story, but you should look into the whole story because it's very interesting. Anything you're going to see on Wikipedia or in the media or anywhere is going to be lies, like, all lies. They're going to say, well, he was crazy. Well, he was blah. Well, he was a white supremacist. They didn't say that back then. I don't know if it would have had any traction if they called him a white supremacist, but they say all kinds of stuff about him now. But he was Trump 1.0. He was saying all these things like how we need to protect our trade. These people are corrupt, etc. And he says, and I believe him, partly because I have heard the interview between Ted Gunderson and Chip Tatum. Can get to that later if you want to, but
sure.
Perot says he was threatened, like with death, if he did not withdraw from the race. So he withdrew from the race, and then a couple months later he came back, and then the media was able to successfully paint him as a crackpot, whatever. And he only came away with 11%, I believe, 11% of the vote. Now
he got 11%.
Yeah, he was leading. He was leading with 34.
That's actually Bush pretty damn impressive.
At 20 something, that doesn't add up. But he was leading. He was ahead of both the main parties at one point before he pulled out. And Chip Tatum, who is a asset of the CIA during the 80s and 90s, said that George Herbert Walker Bush personally asked him to assassinate Ross Perot, and says he has a wedding signature from George Bush that says that. But
good Lord.
Anyway, Chip Tatum, look into him. He's a very interesting fellow. He also says that George Bush told him to kill Gary Hart, and that's a different election. That? Gary Hart was 1988. Jeez, I don't even remember. He was one of he got taken down in a sex scandal. He was one of George Bush's rivals early in the 80s, and he got taken out with a sex scandal. Donna Rice, I believe. Yeah, that sounds right. Long time ago.
Interesting.
Anyway, where were we? Anyway, after Perot was successfully taken care of, shall we say, they changed the rules. The Federal Election Commission changed the rules so that you are not allowed into national debates anymore if you are not a Republican or a Democrat, unless you're polling above 12%, 1% above what Perot was polling.
Oh, you're shitting me.
No, not at all.
Oh, Lord.
It's funny because it's mostly the left that makes the most noise about like how unfair the election process is, because they have the Greens, and the Greens tend to, well, I don't know. In 1996 and 2004, they came kind of close. They didn't come close, but they were consequential, I should say. Anyway,
money and power goes hand in hand.
Yes. My point is, if we lose this and they take everything back,
we're
going
screwed.
to plug all these holes, all the holes that made it possible for somebody like Donald Trump to come up through one of the major parties, take it over, become president of the United States. They will plug all those holes and make sure it will never, ever happen again.
Yeah, I'm a little frightened about that prospect, which is why I need Trump to pull this out. I need the Kraken to come on the shore and pull down the swamp. That's what we need right now.
Well, on the plus side, I'm very optimistic. Like, assume for the sake of argument that Donald Trump doesn't look both ways crossing the street tomorrow and gets hit by a bus, right? God forbid. But
Indeed.
if that happens, I don't think things are going to go back the way they were.
No,
you know what I mean?
I don't think they are either.
That revolutions happen when people are by accident, like get a breath of like fresh air, experience what it's like to be free, and then it's suddenly taken away from them, and they say "fuck this shit," and they just burn the thing down.
Yeah, I think that's where we're headed to. I am far more. I was actually talking to my father about this, and my father said, "Look, they're worried about the riots if Joe Biden wins, or if Trump loses. They're worried about no. Let me rephrase that again. They're worried about the riots if Joe Biden or if Trump wins. They're worried about Antifa and whatnot." And he sat down and was like, if they successfully remove Trump from office this way, the backlash from it will be on a scale no one could anticipate. And we saw they got the million MAGA march. It was literally a million. Like, it was larger than the March for Life. It was larger than any other protest that had ever marched on DC. And that took 5 days. If you took all those same people and said, tough shit, you're on your own, you will never have a voice in politics ever again, you are under the agenda of the progressive left, I don't think...
No. Oh, but go ahead, finish your thought.
I'm sorry. I don't think that the Democrats or the left in general, or the moderates in Congress are ready or can fathom the amount of fuckery that they are going to get if Trump is not the president for the next 4 years. I don't think they understand what is awakening for them. I think there would be far more violence, far more animosity for the next 4 years with Biden as president and Trump out of the White House.
4 years? If it takes 4 years, it didn't accomplish anything. No, I would like violence, organized violence that effectively overthrows the government or secedes from the government.
It wouldn't take 4 yeers. I'm sorry. There's...
Oh no, it would take minutes. It would take minutes. The problem is, I don't know.
Let me put it this way: this country has never seen that the left has many protests and riots and demonstrations and dare I even suggest terrorist activities. We've had the Weather Underground. This country has never seen a completely unified and militaristic push from the right. It terrifies them, and it should terrify them, because if we actually united in that fashion, we would win.
Of course we would.
And that's what that is the barrel they're facing down.
Well, hang on. If it were purely a military thing, we would absolutely win. The problem with the right is that it tends to be leaderless. Right? We're very blessed. We have a strong leader who does not give in, and and we've been very effective, like with Trump leading us. But with Trump gone, who's going to fill that role? And without a leader, the right is very fractious, right? The atheists will start fighting with the Christians. The Catholics will start fighting with the Orthodox. I'll start fighting against you because you're a Mormon.
Hey,
that drives me nuts.
No, you know what? I'll be completely honest. Under these circumstances and in this environment, I don't see those differences mattering very much.
I hope not. But what I see, like last week, right when there was like a lull in the election coverage, Trump and Rudy, they seem to time their events well enough, like to keep the whole thing afloat, like to keep it from collapsing completely. This came at just the perfect time because you could feel it, right? The air was running out of the balloon.
Yeah,
you could feel it, right? And what I saw was like people who I know are conservatives. They didn't turn against the election, but they kind of stopped talking about it, and they went back to to whining about how Governor Newsom said you couldn't wear masks, and here he's at a party without a mask. It would be so easy for Republicans to fall back into that, because that's what conservatism has been for 50 years. Yeah, the left goes and does things, and the right whines about it for a while. We whine about it for a while until we're worn out, and then the left goes and does something else, and then we pick up and move to where they went, so we can whine about them some more. Every time losing ground.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, and I, for the large part, I agree with you. Like the right is not proactive enough in fighting their enemies. But when it comes to this, I don't see it being something where anyone can be complacent. I don't see that. I don't see any. I don't see any real I've been stunned by Steven Crowder's coverage of this. To be perfectly frank,
so have I. Do you think he has access?
I don't know if he has access. I sincerely believe that from his own takes and from the implications that this has for conservatives in general, I think they're finally realizing, albeit too late, granted, I think that conservatives are realizing that it's fight or die time. And if this bullshit goes through, they're fucked, and they're facing war, and they have to get ready for that war. I don't see I don't see that same paradigm of whining and moving to where the left was following this event. I think that if this event plays out with a stolen election and a Biden presidency, I really do not see the right bowing. I don't see the right acquiescing to the left when they ask for a peaceful transition of power. I think everyone is realizing we cannot let this happen under any certain terms whatsoever. This is fight or flight, and the only option we have is fight. Because Americans don't do the whole refugee shit.
I am as hopeful as you are, but let me be your imaginary adversary for just a minute.
Okay.
The gay marriage debate, it's over now, right? We fought it for I don't know, many number of years, and now it's done, and we lost, right? And we have accepted it, right?
I would disagree with that, but continue.
How did that happen? Okay, well, we've got gay people serving. It's fine, people don't bring it up anymore. How did that happen? How did that happen? Our masters are very good at dispersing our anger. You know what I mean? Like cloud, like in the men that stare.
Hang on. When it happened.
Hang on. Let me finish my thought.
Okay.
They passed it. They legislated from the bench. It was completely unconstitutional. The way they pushed the gay marriage bill through, for or against, whatever. Like they did. It was unconstitutional the way they did it. And
Correct.
everybody was mad as hell, right? So what happens? We were treated to this week-long drama about this woman in, what was it, Kentucky, Kansas, who refused to certify a gay wedding.
Yes.
Do you remember her?
I do.
I don't know if she was cast or chosen, but there's no question in my mind that was a psyop, right? They make her look repulsive. They make her sound retarded, right? And who on the right is going to want, she represents me. That's my movement. I'm with her. Nobody, right? And that's how you kill it.
You know what? I'll be honest, William. I was one of the proud deplorables who supported her no matter what.
No, but most people wouldn't, right? And without critical mass, the movement doesn't go anywhere.
True. Yeah, but who can they do that this time? I mean, they've already maligned the Proud Boys, and no one's buying that shit anymore. I mean, the video footage of the Antifa violence and Proud Boys kicking their asses on live stream during the Million MAGA March was irrefutable. My question is, with this particular event, how exactly would they pull that shit off? How do you pull a psyop that big against millions of people, a million people?
All the time. They do it all the time. The key is that you have to have no leader. If you have no leader, it's so easy. Perot's party, the Reform Party, under federal law, they got 11% of the vote. That makes them legally one of the major political parties. They have the same legal standing as the Republicans and the Democrats. People know that. They did. They get matching federal funds for donations and stuff, and they have access to all this stuff. They were able. Where is it now? It's on. They destroyed it. Also, people might remember this differently, but the Occupy movement started as a bipartisan movement. They were able to successfully polarize it left and right very, very early on with that campaign, the I am the 99%, where the people hold up the letters, like them being like stupid losers, and stupid losers on the left, they go in for that, and like self-employed people on the right who are just as angry about the banks like being given $5 billion in free money, do not want to align themselves with some loser who lives in a basement, right? So it split it left and right.
I was actually at Occupy LA when all that bullshit was going down, and it was marvelous being in that camp. And you had the stoners and the losers, and then on one of the sides of the courthouse there was City Hall, not their courthouse, but on one of the sides of City Hall there was the homeowners association, or American homeowners, who had lost their homes through this bullshit. And my parents went through that same debacle, it's essentially fraud. You would tell people to refinance their homes, and when they couldn't refinance, or they got caught in the middle, the bank would just buy up their house. It was an absolute fraud scheme to bail out the banks and steal property. That's essentially what happened.
Yes.
And so I remember being there, and these people were not ideologues. They weren't political junkies. They were not leftists. They were normal people who lost their homes. And you're right. The entire Occupy movement was sidelined by radical pot smokers.
No. The pot smokers did not do that. It was a psyop. It was a psyop. Your government did that to you. It polarized it left and right to basically disperse I've been in student radical stuff for years. Like, I've seen them do it a dozen times. You polarize it left and right. You throw down the leaders. You convince them that they shouldn't have leaders in the first place, right? Because it's oppressive or whatever. And they put their own leaders into the group. There's so many ways you can tear a group apart. And this was extremely successful. In the end, the movement accomplished absolutely nothing. The banks had to concede nothing, and it became a stupid movement for smelly hippies and losers.
Exactly, but you have to acknowledge that the smelly hippies did exist. The smelly hippies were there. The pot smokers were enjoying, free rent on the
CIA
lawn.
will insert their own smelly hippies if none exist. They will move smelly hippies in.
Dude, it was L.A. All of the homeless and hippies were already there, man.
No, I'm in that case, yes, there might have been smelly hippies already there, but I have seen movements where they will bus smelly hippies in just so they can give it that smelly hippie vibe and cast it as smelly. Yes.
Oh no, I believe you.
Yeah.
Like I'm not doubting you at all, but this all I'm saying is that I saw this legitimate movement in the midst of stupidity, abject stupidity.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So how do you see them pulling that off with this with the Biden presidency?
It really depends, I believe, if there's a leader. If there's a leader, somebody like a Donald Trump who, despite his flaws, will not back down in the face of all their bullshit.
Okay.
I think we're in good shape. Absent that leader, we're fucked.
So if Donald Trump is ousted by essentially fraud, do you expect him to take the charge of this movement, or should it be someone else? Because
you mean like America in exile? That would be awesome. I would join that. To see.
I know several Proud Boys who might want to take up that banner. To be perfectly blunt,
Proud Boys. I have great affection for the Proud Boys, but they're a street gang at best, right? What about like the Oath Keepers? What about the Oath Keepers? What about the fucking U.S. military?
Now that is a possibility that I look forward to, because did you know that of all the armed forces, 1/3 of them, an entire third of the armed forces, come from Texas?
I believe that.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine if the Biden presidency tried to tell the armed forces, which is a third Texan, hey, you need to betray the Constitution and all these American values? that would be a shit show waiting to happen.
I bet another third comes from Dixie.
Go ahead.
I said I bet another third comes from Dixie, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Florida Panhandle down there. I bet another third of the U.S. Army comes from there.
Yeah. So we could be seeing, military take action in that instance. But I'm gonna reiterate my position here. I really don't think that the left or the establishment understands the amount of violence and fuckery they're going to get if Trump doesn't pull this out of the hat. Because I see more violence in the future coming from the right if our elections are being made a fool of.
Well, the right doesn't riot because we're not stupid and we're not rowdy children. If there is right-wing violence, it's going to be organized violence.
Exactly. Exactly. It's not going to be a random protest or a random or a random march. It's going to be organized violence on the scale that our media is not capable of reconciling with. It's going to be. We're going to have.
Waged correctly, there wouldn't. I mean, I don't know. If I were running the coup, you just walk into those buildings. You walk into CNN Center in Atlanta, and you just take them off the air. That would be day one. That would be day zero. You don't have to fuck with the media. They're journalists, right? And they're treasonous journalists. You should not have to deal with them at all. You do like the Egyptian military did. You just walk in, say, hand me that mic, motherfucker. Go learn to code.
Stop reading my mind. Stop it.
You sit down, you turn on the TV camera, like, guess what, motherfuckers? This network belongs to me now.
We have redistributed your broadcast capabilities.
Put up with your bullshit long enough. Let me tell you how it's going to go down. Yeah.
Well,
put them on trial, make it a fair trial. Come on, man. Like, this is treason. The American networks are committing treason, right? And
absolutely.
It shouldn't be tolerated. It should not be tolerated.
I mean, you're thinking about marching on CNN. I would personally be far more afraid for Silicon Valley than I would of like a news network.
What are they going to do? They're going to stab me with their slide rules? Not me. I'm not a soldier, right? I'm not a soldier. I draw pictures for a living. But yeah, like get SEAL Team 6 in there. Have them jump in like have him rappel into Jack Dorsey's office and drag him out of there by his long beard.
Yeah.
While he's in the middle of an ayahuasca trip or whatever.
But no, if there was the amount of violence that the right would perpetuate over this nonsense would be massive, organized, complete destruction of the infrastructure of our enemies.
Yeah, and over in an hour.
Yeah.
Over in an hour.
Like, I mean, I don't think they would know what hit them because the right is not stupid.
Yeah.
If we're going to if we're going to do something like this, it's going to be massive. We're going to hit your networks. We're going to hit your server farms. We know where those are.
Well, don't blow them up. Just take them. These are mine now. They have no army. They have nothing. They have nothing. They have. I was realizing this when I was when Tucker did his little soft shoe dance 12 hours ago. It was subtle, but gosh, if you're high information, it didn't fool anybody. It's all they have is lies. That is all that they have. That's it. They don't have a police. They don't have an army. They don't have like orbital lasers they can zap you with. They have nothing. They can do nothing to you. All they can do is lie. That's it.
Yep. Well,
take away their power to lie and they're gone.
They have their lies and they have their tears. But I don't think they realize how much America's turned off to those tears now. I don't think they know. I don't think they know how the old style of demean and deride is no longer a valid tactic.
Yeah, their power is broken and it'll peter out eventually. But I would like to see the guilty punished.
Oh, you and me both. That's what needs to happen. We're shooting the shit about wondering, what if, God forbid, that never pans out? Which I'll be honest, that it's getting it looks like we might have to be looking at that option seriously.
Well, following the leader is the best option right now. I have complete in our leader.
Yeah, I would be inclined to agree. And since you are Chinese national, we do have to.
I'm not a Chinese national.
Fine, you are a resident of mainland China.
I'm here because the United States government freaks me out.
Hang on. Because the United States government freaks you out.
Yes.
You went to China.
Yes. How does that not make sense?
It doesn't. I mean, you.
Oh, it does.
Okay.
I can say whatever I want about the United States government here.
Oh,
they love it. Yeah,
okay.
Say more. If I try to go against the Chinese government, obviously I am fucked. But yeah, I have no interest, and so they leave me alone. And
So
here, at least, I know that anything that the deep state in the United States would try to do to surveil me or get at me or whatever, like that's not going to work. That's not going to fly. That's not going to work in China.
okay then, I'm okay. I have nothing more to say on that particular topic.
Yeah, Russia would also be a good choice.
All right. Vladimir is based. I'm not gonna lie. No, I'm serious because you were talking about the right being divided, and
Mm-hmm.
I just in my mind I'm thinking to myself, okay, on ideological lines, who do I want to be on good terms with? Who is a sincere ally? And I know you don't like the fact that I'm LDS or that I choose to remain LDS. But you know the family of proclamation to the world.
Yes.
Okay.
Of course.
For me personally, that is my guiding tool. Anyone who can agree with me on those principles and those that outline, you're my friend. I don't care what religion you come from or what your background is. If you can follow those basic beliefs, I'll fight with you to the end of the earth. Is that something that you and I could at least tentatively agree on?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's too basic, I would say, but sure. Yeah, that's basic.
It's a very basic guideline of what society should theoretically look like, how our worldview should be framed, and if you can agree with that and say yes, this is what society should look like, then you are my ally. I don't need any other reassurances from you if you can agree to this. And I see so many people veering off to things that are not the basics. They get hung up on petty shit.
Okay.
And that really to me, because the reason I bring that up is because even with those of my faith, and I'm sure those of yours, whatever yours, and when we're dealing with atheists and when we're dealing with people of other stripes, there are movements that are considered too unattractive, like the Justice Party, the new the new white supremacist party, the people, yeah, the people who were born out of Unite the Right rally, Charlottesville, that whole bullshit.
Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah, fuck it. But
that's not
hear me
conservative.
out. No, hear me out. If you listen to this to the stances of their platform and what they want to do, it's right in line. It's right in line with the proclamation. And I'm sitting here going, yeah, I'm not bullshitting you. Like I wish I were lying. I sincerely wish I was mistaken and wrong. But even the fringe movements like the Justice Party are more in line with the proclamation than some of these Lulbertarians, these ANCAPs, which in my opinion is oxymoronic to be an ANCAP. But anyways, we do digress. But if these people have more, like, I really have to reconsider who my friends and my enemies are based on that criteria.
Well, anybody who's a racist is my natural enemy, so there's nothing I can do about that. Whatever they might think about families. Sorry to your listeners. I'm a race mixer. Sorry.
Can't be friends. Hey, I welcome race mixers. I'm actually, that's not a good example. I am not a good example of race mixing. I am Italian. I married an Italian. um, so no, I'm not a good example of this. But it's just strange to me how, and I don't think their manifesto has anything inherently racist in it. That's my point. Is I'm actually listening to these people and what they're proposing, and most of it, from what I heard, was pro-family, not pro-race.
Okay.
And that's what I'm saying is, listening to these people and taking them at their word, it just seems odd that I'm told this is who the boogeyman is.
Right.
So
okay.
So that's what I mean when I'm saying I have to reevaluate who allegedly my enemies are.
Yeah, well, like Reddit said, somebody who agrees with you 80% is a friend and ally, somebody who agrees with you 90% is a friend and ally, not a 10% traitor.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now,
yes.
And that's it. I mean, I've just decided to use this document. I'll probably post a link about it in the description when I'm done with this. But no, that is my guiding unifier from here on out. I'm not going to worry about anything else, because what else is there really at the end of the day? If I can't agree with you on these basic fundamentals for what society should look like, what are we doing?
Exactly.
And it's, do you know, and I'm just speaking hypothetically, is there anyone on the right, quote unquote, that I need to be worried about who are not invested in the family? Because I've seen a lot of crazy shit come from Charlie Kirk.
Pretty much everybody in the media, I guess. In the legacy media, I guess you could say.
Yeah. Because when I see what is Charlie Kirk's organization? Turning Point?
I am not I apologize. I'm not that familiar with Charlie Kirk.
Oh, Charlie Kirk is a he's a meme now because he has a small face and a huge head.
Okay.
But he has a quote unquote conservative right wing outlet called Turning Point, where they have quote unquote conservative talks and debates and whatnot. And he's out there, advocating for transgenderism.
Okay.
And I'm saying, you're going, dude, what are you doing? This is not what we signed up for.
Let me ask you a question. What does conservatism even mean to you?
Like, literally, to me?
Literally. The definition of the word. Do words have meanings? What is the meaning of the word?
The preservation and maintaining of, in my opinion, the family structure.
Interesting. Okay.
That's just for me personally. Like, it has nothing to do with hierarchy per se. It has nothing to do with how would you say, political institutions. I don't give a damn about that. For me, my definition of conservatism comes from the social fabric of society, like the family. Now,
okay, I dig that.
Now, I know there are several like monarchists who want to, split ass hairs over that bullshit. And as far as I'm concerned, they're exactly that. You're splitting ass hairs. No one cares. If your conservatism isn't broad enough to apply to the daily average man, it's not conservatism. It's big brain stupid.
Well, the reason I ask is because there was a time, like mid 80s to like the later. There's a 25-year period, it seems to me, where you would ask that question and the answer would always be small government.
See,
for everybody. which is the
Small
Reagan answer.
government.
That's liberalism means big government, and conservatism means small government. It's a very Reagan answer. It's a very libertarian answer, very Ron Paul answer, right? Back when they were the shining stars of the quote unquote conservative movement.
I can see. You know what? That might be a part of conservatism. I'm sure.
I'm
sure it's big.
I don't agree with that at all. By the way, I wanted to test what people are thinking these days.
Well, and here's why they might believe that, and I think it's a red herring, to be honest. I think I'm of the same mind with you. I think that claiming conservatism is necessarily small government is a red herring. It's not small government. It's how would you say? I think conservatism at its core is the sovereignty of the individual and the sovereignty of the family. Because without those two things, everyone is fucked. Everyone. Anyone who wants to maintain, how would you say, self-determination, anyone who wants to have economic promise, if they don't have the sovereignty of the individual and of the family, they have nothing. And I really think that conservatism and republicanism, as we can call it, I think they have failed at maintaining the sovereignty of the family, and when you erode the sovereignty of the family, you will erode the sovereignty of the individual de facto, and the nation. The reluctance of our media and our talking heads and our big-brained philosophers at recognizing that that failure is why we're in the predicaments we are now. Yes. That and other things. And it's strange because people did not realize they didn't understand why the gay marriage debate was such a big deal. If you take down and deconstruct the sovereignty of the family, what you essentially do is you are hampering, and we see this in the Black community. It's not a secret. If you deconstruct the family, it will de facto harm and hamper individuals developing in society. This is not a secret. No, this is not unknown. And so when society chose the individual over the family, they lost both. Yes. We will lose both. Are you familiar with the history of the FBI and the Panthers in the late 60s, mid 70s? I do know that when an FBI agent tried to meet a Black Panther, the Black Panthers would try and kill them. And for good reason. I know that much. Well, first of all, like a lot of conservative listeners will probably be thinking that like leftism was like the hippie movement was like started by the state and like promoted by the state, and that isn't really true at all. They co-opted it, right? There were many elements of the 60s radical movement, one of which was the Black nationalist movement, right? And they figured out that they could co-opt, you should basically buy out the white radicals, right? You find the Weather Underground, like the Yippie movement or whatever, and you find them 15 years later, they're running Lamborghini dealerships, literally, It was never about the radicalism. It was always about me. So, we'll just give you something and you'll shut up. And it worked, Yeah. The hippies were all about, all about themselves and all about like the superficial idea of being a good person, the virtue signaling thing. And then the government figured that out and was able to co-opt them and bring them into their movement. But this technique did not work on the Black nationals, right? Oh, so it didn't tell. Adam Curtis did a
document. He's a lefty, but he does good work when he's not covering things that are ostensibly political. Yeah, because Black Americans do not go in for individualism as a doctrine, if you know what I mean.
Got it.
White Americans do, and you can break their movements apart by, with the idea of individuals, go be your own thing, go be what you want to do. It doesn't work on Black people. And they tried to use this technique on them, and they it was met with hostility, right?
Yeah, I can see that being the case.
Away the only thing that makes us us, and that is our identity as being Black. So we're not going to concede that to anybody. And the FBI via COINTELPRO, basically, there's a documentary on this. You can pull it up on YouTube. It's COINTELPRO versus the Panthers. I highly recommend. Okay. They killed all the Black Panther leaders, and there were other groups too. They basically murdered them, and then they essentially invented whole cloth the gangster, the hip hop archetype, that lifestyle, the gangster thing. Right? They couldn't take them down. They couldn't fracture them into individuals, but they could break it along East and West, like among communities, and have them fight each other. And they could destroy their families, and they could destroy them with drugs. Yes. When you see like Black, what's his name, come out and say, yeah, the CIA has been like trying to destroy the Black community with crack cocaine. He's technically correct. He's right. He's right about that. Yeah, the Bloods and the Crips are descended directly from the Black Panthers. They split them in half and had them fight each other.
Well, damn.
Yeah.
But but back to the other topic. When you asked me about what conservatism means to me,
right.
Yeah, it means the preservation and the maintenance of the family, like that whole social fabric. I mean,
that's baseline. I'll give you that. That works.
Yeah, and it's not a big brained political spectrum bullshit thing. It really is basically my fundamental belief that if you take away the sovereignty of the family, the sovereignty of the individual will follow.
True.
Wholesale.
Yes.
So, and that's why when it comes to choosing who my political allies should be, that's why I've chosen that proclamation to be kind of like my guiding light.
Right. Because there is no individual with no structure.
Yes.
Yes. The structure creates the individual. What structure is that? Is it a family structure? Is it a church structure? Is it a civic structure? Or is it
the deep state structure?
Identity politics. Yeah. Identity politics and your job, basically.
Is your structure the cathedral, or is it? You know, there's something profound about this, and most people don't realize. I did not praise Her Majesty when she legalized gay marriage as something she did on a lark. Like, to me, that was a profound moment of gross hypocrisy. Here you have Her Majesty, the Queen, the
Queen of England?
Yes, the Queen of England just granted gay marriage with a wave of her scepter.
Oh, neat.
Here you have someone who has the ultimate expression of family power, redefining what the family is for everyone else. Because this is an eternal truth. Take this to the bank. Not all families are royalty, but all royalty is family.
True.
All royalty is that is the ultimate expression of the power a family can have and should have on the world at large. Like your family and the communities and the community of families that exist in a society should be like miniature kingdoms of support for one another.
Indeed.
And for her to invalidate the family by extending that right to those who cannot naturally make it on their own is, to me, the height of what would you call that? What would you call that?
Hypocrisy?
Call that kind of. It's not hypocrisy. It is hypocrisy, but it's a hypocrisy of a worse sort. It's a what is it that leftists always do? Like categorically, it's a the word is my words are failing me. It's a
Right.
It's not a perversion. It's a synonymous with a distortion.
Mm.
It's my God, and it's not demoralization. But no, it's when you know that something is good, but you twist it for everyone else so they can't have it.
Oh, debase it?
And I sort of it's on the tip of my tongue, and my brain won't go there.
The concept, I think, is sour grapes.
Almost. But no, it's you're robbing it of meaning for everyone else. And I couldn't respect that act, especially in the position that she's in. And I don't know why anyone else does either. But no, when we talk about what a conservative is, that would be my definition of it. And thank you for the information on the Black Panthers. That was truly enlightening.
Yeah. No, shout out to all you racists out there. Like prior to like 1964, Black people were not known to have fatherless families and
and here's the thing. No. Hang on. I'm gonna call you out on this. Most people who are part of the I don't want to say alt-right, but alt-light. Well, most of those people who are in like the I have a friend called Yiz the Eunuch. She's not a racist in any way, shape, or form. But most of the people who are in that pro-white sphere, they recognize that the disintegration of the Black family is not something of their own making.
Oh well, that's good. You've met better people than I have.
No, and truly, you do have to go down a few rabbit holes to find these.
To find the good racists. Yeah.
No.
They don't come out and advertise themselves, do they? You got to go looking for them.
It's not that I go looking for them. It's that I believe in just in talking with people and learning what they actually believe rather than what they're accused of believing.
I do too. I used to have Matt Heimbach and Matt Parrott in one of my Facebook groups. Yeah, you know who they are, right?
Nope. Enlighten me.
The God, what are they? You know what? Never mind. they were like leading tier alt-right white nationalist types in 2016. I think they're probably gone by now.
Probably. But let's talk about our other topic. I wanted to start something about why fight fear, not hate.
Fight fear, not hate.
Why do Christians feel the obligation to help other minority groups and leftists, quote unquote, fight hate?
I don't know.
And the fact that there's no real doctrinal credo in Christianity to take up that mantle, to take up that battle.
I think there's a misunderstanding on the part of conservatives generally.
Okay.
Well, okay. Back to the definition of what conservatism means. Should I tell you the correct answer?
Sure.
I'm going to give you the correct answer. Conservatism as a term was coined by Edmund Burke, right?
Mm-hmm.
Edmund Burke, in opposition to the French Revolution, all of it, right? And that includes like pseudo Jacobin things like the American Revolution and Thomas Jefferson, things like that. So it means we are against everything that they like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's it was coined in like early 19th century, like 1820 or something like that. So did conservatism, meaning cross and crown and authority and tradition, did it come into being in 1820 when he coined the term? No, of course not.
No.
Well, what did they used to call that? And the answer is they didn't used to call that anything.
Yeah.
Right? Because if there's only one of something, you don't have to name it. Right? In Japan, the religion we know is Shinto. Like for thousands of years, did not have a name. It took on a name as soon as a second religion was introduced into the Japanese islands. As soon as Buddhism showed up, then all of a sudden Shinto has to have a name so as we can differentiate it from this other religion. But so conservatism always was, and it included all of the quote unquote liberal ideas.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Including compassion, equality. All these are rationality and all the things that the left claims, right, for their own, even though it's not them. Jordan Peterson puts it really well. Like an ideology is a parasite on tradition, right? They have a part of the tradition. They've claimed a few things for themselves. They claimed liberty. They claimed equality. They claimed fraternity. They claimed rationalism. They claimed compassion. They claimed them for themselves. But all these things belong to tradition.
Correct.
Right.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Right. But what I see, quote unquote, conservatives doing now is that if they see the left doing something, they believe that they have to do the opposite of that.
No. And that is another issue.
I know you disagree, but I know you've seen that.
Yes.
I know you've seen people say that. These people are compassionate, so I have to be vicious. These people believe in equality, so I have to believe in inequality. These people believe in anti-racism, so I have to believe in racism. These people believe in peace, so I have to believe in violence. That's not really the case, you know? Like their ideas are our ideas, but decontextualized and taken to ridiculous extremes.
Well, no, and I do agree with that, especially when we're talking about economic policies. Like I sincerely like this is a bit of a rabbit hole, but no, I'm not going to go into that far. But essentially, what we've done to our economy is atrocious. Like it is literally abortion. It is what we have done is we have allowed corporations to forsake our future for a happier present.
Mm-hmm.
And economically and socially, that's what abortion does to societies over long periods of time. And we've done this economically. We are not replacing our workforce. We're not investing in our own citizens, in our own populaces. We're not investing in this outsourcing phenomena is detrimental to us economically, and it's because we've and the fact that Vosh, of all people, is citing the GDP as a net good because of
why do people know what Vosh thinks?
But I'm mocking him. Let me go on.
Go ahead.
But for Vosh to be citing the GDP as why we should tolerate illegal immigration for, the jobs and the numbers, no, GDP is not a measurement of the quality of life for those in your country, and it goes back to what you're saying about just because the left is supposedly for this doesn't mean we should be against it. You're right. But when I'm talking about fight the fear, not hate, that phenomenon specifically, I'm not saying that injustice should be tolerated or that cruelty should be tolerated on any level. the fact of the matter is, when the left talks about fighting hate, what they're actually talking about, what they put into practice, is you being afraid to speak your mind in spite of the fact that you have not racist beliefs, not, well, maybe they are racist, maybe they are sexist, maybe they are whatever phobia that they can list off. But the fact is, this mind control, this tactic is primarily used to stop you from saying what you have literally physically experienced in your life. And you need to fight the fear of being afraid to voice those experiences more than you are afraid of the consequences of having that voice and that experience.
Oh, yes. Embrace the consequence.
Exactly. And full bore. And I know that you're right there with me. And for me, the real mindfuckery comes into play when, how do I put this? When I go back into the Christian doctrine and the canon and the scriptures, and I'm looking for a place where Lord Jehovah is commanding us to fight hate. And you know what I find?
Nothing?
I find not only do I find nothing, I find in scripture our Lord telling us, look, if you're doing good for my sake, you're going to be hated.
Yeah.
And
can I make a minor point that's always bugged me?
Go ahead.
The word hate as an unquantifiable noun. That's not English. That's not English. We have a word for that, is hatred.
Okay.
Hatred is the word.
Yes.
Hate is a verb. To hate.
Well, no, and that is correct. And the way that the scripture is used is, they will hate you for my name's sake. That you are of course correct.
Yes.
Now, and yes, hate is a verb, just like love is a verb, so on and so forth. But going further, as Christians, if we know almost de facto that if you're a good person, you're doing good things, that the world is going to hate you for doing it, why do so many Christians feel obliged to entertain the left and be good people and fight the hate for them, when we know damn well it's not going to be reciprocated?
It's not going to be reciprocated. Gosh, I'm going to say because we're better people.
Yeah, but there comes a point when, the Lord didn't say, be ye stupid as swine and, harmless as doves. He says, be ye wise as serpents.
Sure.
We have to be intelligent about what we choose to take on.
Well, I'm not saying I necessarily think it's a good idea. I'm just explaining why. I'm sure that's why. The why is, because we hold out, because people are trying to be Christ-like, right? Not to try to be peacemakers.
Yeah, but
which
we're
is a
going to start
commandment.
flipping tables too.
Blessed are the peacemakers. Yes, well, flip the tables, then make peace.
Well, yes, but you have to flip the tables first.
Anyway, I'm not taking up that side as something that I want to argue. I'm just explaining it. I understand the impulse, even if I don't agree with it.
Oh, I understand that. I'm just venting my frustrations because it seems like it's a far more noble cause to fight for someone to speak their mind and to fight the fear of speaking that mind than it is to constantly appeal to the left and fight the alleged hatred that is leveled at them. It's just something that's been boggling my mind. Like, why on earth did we take this up when we should be fighting something else?
Well, because another reason is conservatives accept the role of the left as authority figures. That didn't come out right. You follow me, though?
No, please clarify.
Oh, this goes back. Have you ever I don't know if you have Alan Bloom, The Closing of the American Mind? No?
I'm not familiar,
It's
but
one of
I think
the seminal works of 20th century conservatism. It's basically
I think I know where you're going, but please do elaborate.
okay. How about this? If you were a child in the 80s, a child of a conservative family, every house you went to would have had a copy of The Naked Communist on their bookshelf, right next to their Bible and their Mormon Doctrine by Bruce R. McConkie. Right? They would have the yes. It was a big red book, and inside the book, it is a debunking of communism. Right?
Okay.
This is before the wall fell and everything. But on the cover is a silhouette of a man who is the communist, and the way they draw him, he looks like Dr. Manhattan. It's like a black silhouette of this naked, muscly dude. Right?
Interesting.
And that is how the right, the conservatives, see the left. They're evil, they're bad, they're immoral, they're going to hell, but they're also 10 feet tall and they will win. And we have to accept our lives, like in the corners of the world, right? Should we run away? Should we commit suicide? Should we open our veins in the bath? Should we go to Alaska? Should we go to another planet? Right? Should we go off grid? You've heard all these things. I know you have. Like whenever something bad happens, like, oh fuck, it's time to go to Alaska, time to go to Canada, I'm going to Russia, whatever.
I'm going to China.
Well, okay. Excellent point. Yes, that's exactly what happened.
Oh,
that's a very fair point.
But no, I do know what you're saying, but I'm thinking back to myself. I'm like, do they not realize they are the Goliaths of this story? Like, and believe it or not, the David that is the communist in the Antifa crowd, they don't have a magic bullet. They don't have a magic rock and a mighty sling. Like, you are the cyclopean beast they fear. And they can't stop you if you choose to act.
We should be. Yes, if we choose to act, but they don't. Because conservatives have no branding. They have no vision. You can't even imagine what success for us would even look like. We don't even think about it.
I can tell you what success for us would look like. It would be peaceful. Conservative victory means peace.
Like physically. Like the left, their ideas are stupid, but they can articulate very clearly what the ideas are, right? It looks like Star Trek. It's very pink, pastel, well lit, fluorescent lighting, everybody in a jumpsuit, everybody equal, everybody being very polite with each other and rational, and every week they find a new species or another something or other to treat equally. That's their vision of the future. And because they can articulate it so clearly, like people can get behind it, right? We have the better ideas, but we cannot articulate our vision of what our world looks like. And because we can't do that, nobody can get behind it. Hello?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I had to depart for just a moment. And, thanks for your time, man. That's about all the time I have for tonight.
Oh, shit. I killed the stream.
Yeah, you did kill the stream. But no, it was a good stream. I'm glad that we got this talk. And, you know what, guys? Just stay carnal, and we'll see you next time. Thank you, William, for coming on again. You've been a fantastic guest. I love these conversations that we have. Right, but alas, duty calls, and we will see you next time.
All right, bye.
Bye.